Hi, I'm Samantha, and I want to start by saying something important. I see you. I see the late nights you've spent perfecting your resume. I see the disappointment when another application disappears into the void. I see the self-doubt creeping in, making you question your worth and your qualifications. And I want you to know that every single feeling you're experiencing is valid and shared by millions of talented professionals just like you. The job market can feel impersonal and discouraging, but your career story deserves to be told in a way that captures attention and opens doors. That's exactly what Resume Flow does. We take your unique experiences, skills, and aspirations and craft them into a compelling narrative that employers can't ignore. You're not just looking for any job. You're looking for the right opportunity that recognizes your value and propels your career forward. With Resume Flow's AI-powered insights and optimization tools, we're going to make sure that opportunity finds you. Your breakthrough moment is closer than you think. Let's create it together.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone is doing well. I'm Tickle Trough. We are engineered to win. We have an exciting day today. So, the primary focuses of today are going to be continuing to work on the prototype of the speaking app. I want it to be a mobile app. We're going to be looking into that, and but also the goal for that is to try to use our local our local setup of Supabase. Last week we tried to install it with Docker. We ran into some complications. I think it was because my Docker settings were they were kind of limited. So I had to, because like when I tried to open Docker up this week, I was not able to. So I had to make some modifications, add some more disk space, some more CPU space to the Docker setup. Got it able to open up again. So we're going to run that back. We're going to try to set up Supabase on Docker, and then we're also going to be using Spec-kit to try to build out using Spec-kit and Kilo to try to build out the prototype of the speaking app to help people improve their speech. So it's a prototype right now. I'm probably not going to take it too far right now, but maybe that'll be something that we explore in the future. We shall see where it takes us. But that is the goal for today. We're also going to be talking about, during our breaks, it's going to be dedicated to talking about AWS and the major outage that they had on Monday, this past Monday, October 20th, 2025. I was affected by it, as well as a lot of other companies that were affected by it. It cost a lot of money. So I want to investigate how much did this outage cost. I want to investigate if the world is relying too much on US cloud infrastructure and US tech. And I also want to talk about interesting like actual product that uses AWS and how it impacted them as well. So we're going to be looking into all of that today. We have a great show planned out. But before we do any of that, you guys know what I have to do first. I have to give a big shout out to all of my people, to all of my people. So first, we're going to start off with shout out and salute and thank you. Thank you so much to everyone who subscribes to the channel wherever you are watching from. I'm still working on getting us back on Twitch and on X and on Arena. But, with the new software, some things are not working as I was expecting them to do. I have to do some more research. I haven't had the time to do that research yet. So we're going to be investigating that again, but we will be back. I'm hoping to be back on there maybe Tuesday, Thursday at the latest. So I'm going to dedicate some time. I'm going to add that to, I'm actually, you know what? We're going to go into the coaching portal, and I'm going to add that as some goals for this week to to fix our connections to those other platforms again, because we want to be able to reach people wherever they may be. All right. So that's going to be part of the goal. But shout out to everyone who is watching wherever you are watching from. You are helping us grow and get this tech message out all over the world, whether you've been with me for a very long time or whether you are brand spanking new. I just want to tell you that I truly appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. All right. Let me see. Is my sound low on this? It might be a little low on the. Let's push it up. Let's boost it up to over here, right? All right, cool. So, let me see other sounds. Just making sure that my sound is about right. I think we are. Let me know if you can hear me all right. Let me know if you can hear me all right. I've been playing around with the sound settings to make sure that we sound clear, and we're not. I know on some of the videos I might have been clipping what I found out called clipping a little bit. So making sure that we have our audio levels correct, because I do not want to give anyone a bad experience on this channel. To me, presentation and production is key. So I want to be able to provide you with great content as well as great production quality, especially being a Q engineer, always looking to improve, always looking to do better. So I am hoping, and if there's anything, because I got a comment today saying that on one of my videos the sound was clipping, and I have to leave a reply to that comment saying I really appreciate it, because I like to know when there's issues and then how we can make it better and all of that good stuff, right? So thank you so much for paying attention and letting me know, especially using your expertise when things don't sound right, when things don't look right. Always want to make it better. Always want to drive that forward. All right. I want to give a big shout out as well to all of my tech barbarians, my tech prodigy members, my technical explorers. Those are the Patreon members who are working so hard day in and day out to meet their goals, to meet their expectations. I see, I have, since I've been doing this, right, and even before, but I see people who they say they want to do something until I annoy them into actually starting it and trying it, and then if they fall flat. There's an interesting, give me a interesting thing. Let me try that. All right, cool. Let me try that one more time. Okay, cool. I was getting a little double sound on my end, but we're good now. We are good now. So, but yeah. So, and it's like it's a bit it's disheartening. I won't say it's discouraging, but there's so many people that you come across. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. Right? And then you push them into actually doing what they claim that they want to do, and then you see them. They're like, well, so much for that. So a lot of times you run into a lot of people who they're all talk. They are all talk, right? But it's good because now you know who to separate yourself from and who to rock with, because in life you will find out that there's so many people who they just talk and talk and talk, but they don't do. They do not do. So for me, I personally like to be around the doers and not just the talkers. So those doers, those that I'm close with, those are my Patreon members, my tech barbarians, my tech project members. Shout out to you guys for always working so hard day in and day out. We are truly the best. All right, and last but certainly not least, shout out to all of my tech mercenaries. Those are the YouTube channel members who hold me down, who allow me to get this message out across the entire world. Our videos, thanks to YouTube and their technology, it's available in so many different languages. So this message that I'm sharing, people are able to get it and they're able to hear it in their language and they're able to apply it to their lives. And hopefully we are able to continue adding value across the entire world, because that's what we do. That is what we do. Let's get it, y'all. All right. So let me check the chat real quick. I see I have one of my favorite people who have been with me for a very long time in the building. Shout out to my guy Don Johnson. He says, I can hear you. Thank you so much, Don Johnson. Truly a, all right, I'm gonna tell you guys, he will deny this, right? He will deny this. So Don earmuffs, but I'm gonna tell you guys about Don. He is a literal genius. He's a genius, right? I have learned so much from him, and it's like every other day he's saying, oh, check out this prototype, check out that prototype, and he's doing all these different things. Been in QA for a very long time, and he is very well versed in cybersecurity. I remember he had the Chaos Camp challenges that we used to do in the morning. Great stuff. So shout out to my guy Don Johnson. Always holding me down. So appreciate you so much. That's interesting. Like I said, I've been messing with these sound things, and I just played a sound, and I saw that it didn't come through this mic. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. We're always exploring, always building, always trying to get better. All right. All right. So I want to take us into an icebreaker real quick. So you guys have heard about this, or maybe you haven't, but the FBI, they had a press conference on, maybe it was Thursday, on Wednesday possibly, but they said that they announced that there were some NBA players and coaches, former NBA players as well, who were involved in two gambling scandals. One being prop betting on games, and which prop betting, like it's got quote unquote legalized, but it's something that's been happening for a very long time. All right. So there was that. Oh, not this one. Where's my icebreaker? I want this one. So, so there was there was a prop betting part of it, and there was like a whole poker thing, and all this being funneled by the mafia. Believe it or not, by the mafia, right? And I'm like, I personally, I never really understood the fascination with gambling, whether it's in like, cards or the slot machines or whatever other type of gambling that they have, like rolling dice and stuff like that. I never really understood the fascination with that. But also even more, I definitely never understood the fascination with sports gambling, right? Knowing that like you could add the lottery to it as well. Raffle tickets. Raffle tickets normally they're supposed to be for a quote unquote good cause, but I am not a person who is in like I don't like things that are super duper random where you have absolutely no control over the outcome. It's just like, and then when you look at sports with sports betting, it's like you are saying that you know how these athletes are going to show up and all this type of stuff, and total you have no control, and it could totally be manipulated. There are so many different layers over the control that you have that it's just it's a recipe for disaster, right? So I wanted to as our icebreaker, I wanted to watch this one video where an expert showed, and this shows about how the technology behind the rigging of like the poker games, for instance, right, and the cards, and then we'll go back into like talking about that and about the what do you call the other thing, about the sports gambling, right? Because that like I never really understood it. I never really understood it. So we're gonna jump over here real quick. And let's watch this video. So like I was saying, this video is brought to us by ABC News. They're talking about an expert showing the high-tech devices that were allegedly used in the NBA gambling scandal. So let's take a watch. Give me a second to fix that. Hmm. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. So let's watch this really quick, and then we will come back with some commentary on the other side of it. So with that backdrop, right? The whole let's take a look at this, right? So Kenny Smith said that the whole gambling is an addiction. I agree with that. I do agree with that. But with what Charles Barkley was saying, though, is what did the like what these three people are alleged to take part in does not have anything to do with gambling. It has to do with cheating, right? So if you are faking an injury to help people win money, that's just cheating. So that doesn't have to. Cheating is not an addiction, right? That's what that. Cheating is not an addiction. So if you are allegedly faking an injury to get out of the game to help other people who are addicted to gambling make money off of you, then that's a crime, of course, right? And it's as so I agree with Kenny and Charles Barkley, but they're talking about different people. I can't understand the fascination of going into things that you don't have any control over. There's a difference if you are, so I've seen this happen I've seen this happen before, where you'll be at a park, right? And you're playing pickup basketball, people get into an argument and they want to bet like $10, saying that, oh, I bet you $10 that I can beat you or whatever, right? At least there, it's on you whether you are going to be successful or not be successful. It is not on a totally different entity. And the more professional they are, the more layers removed. So now you have these players, you have these things. Oh, how much will this player score in the first quarter? How many rebounds will they have? What's the margin of the game? Like, you have absolutely zero ability of knowing this, and people are betting so much money that they don't have. It's one thing if you have the money, you want to blow it. That's one thing. But people, like, they are betting this stuff on the things that they don't have. And for what? For, like, why? It makes no logical sense to me. And then when you have these scandals come out, you are just throwing your money away at that point. There can be cheating involved, and when you think about it, right, when you go to the legal places to actually gamble, if you win too much, then the casinos, they kick you out. They say, oh no, you can't be here because you're actually winning. So if you win, then you're not allowed to be there. If you lose, then you're allowed to be there. If you go to these private places, they're probably cheating you. How many people have gotten seriously hurt by losing all like wasting all their money on gambling, broken up their families, been taken out by like the mafia because they owe money, or if you're at one of these places and a fight breaks out because you accuse somebody of cheating, and maybe they were. Sports betting, horse betting, like, and everything revolves around betting. Like, and for me, I never, it never really meant anything to me. All this gambling, or I used to work with somebody, right? They were so deep into sports betting and to online cards, online poker. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. Where, and they lost a lot of money. And then one day they would come in, oh, I made $2,000. I'm like, yeah, but you lost like 10,000 in the past week. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Now it's like, and I think it just grew and grew and grew as, because I remember the first time I heard of fantasy sports, I had to be in like first year of college. when Yahoo had the fantasy football for free, and I was like, oh, I tried it out. I probably went into it like 4 weeks and I stopped paying attention because I just didn't care. But as fantasy sports started to grow and grow and grow, now in the workplace, fantasy sports is gambling. It's just gambling, right? But now in the workplace, you would have people spending like 4 hours every single year, 4 hours at here's the impact of gambling on society, right? You'll have quote unquote draft nights where people are spending 4 hours where they're drafting these players for their quote unquote fantasy teams. And every single week, putting the time to set up their rosters, people are arguing with each other, trying to make trades. It's like being a fantasy GM. And I never really understood the fascination behind it. Like, what is it that you're getting out of it? Just so at the end you win like what, $100? Everybody, you are spending so much time playing some fantasy thing just to gamble. Like, and everything is masked in gambling. People betting on. I mean, people betting on. I remember. Me and a couple of friends, we went to this event, right? Where it was, I forgot what year it was, but it was about Madden. And you could win, like you put in, let's say, $10 or whatever, and you'd win money. And then people started cheating in Madden, and they called the whole thing off. At least with that, it kind of relies on your own skills in the video game. But then when people start cheating and people start wanting to fight, I don't know, like the whole cards thing, people, spades, dominoes. There's some strategies in those, right? But at the end of the day, it depends on the hand that you get. It depends on the hand that you're dealt. You have a little bit more control in those type of things, but rolling dice, like, are you telling me there's really a way that you can roll dice to make sure that you're going to get a certain result? Unless, believe it or not, what if the casinos, what if they're rigging the dice so that certain people can win for a while to attract other people to come and try? I don't know. I don't believe any of it. There was a movie that I watched recently with Jason Statham. What was the name of that movie? Oh God, what was it? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Jason Statham gambling movie. Wild Card came out in 2015. Wild Card. He needed a certain amount of money to leave Vegas and go somewhere else, right? He made it. Then he went back for one more bet. And that's how it always goes. One more bet. One more shot. And it leaves you worse off than you started. Anyways, that's my thoughts behind this whole NBA gambling thing, this gambling in general. I never understood. I would see people come every week like clockwork to put in their bets in on the sports games, the parlays, how many teams, how much you could win, all this, and you have absolutely no control. People losing everything, giving up everything for something that they have absolutely no control. Instead of, why not? Why don't we work on a purpose? Why don't we be productive? Why don't we take control of the controllables, take control of our lives instead of trying to get a quick hit? Because you're going to be back next week anyways to blow it up. Even if you win this week, you're going to blow it out next week anyways. There is no strategy betting on sports. There is no strategy. One person might win, 99% are going to lose. And we just give it all away. I don't get it. Anyways, that's my thoughts. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that just even if these people are found not guilty, but the fact that you can be tied in with the mob and that there's that cloud over your head that you might have been involved, you might have participated even a little bit. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Anyways, let's get to work. We will get to work. We're going to get back into doing productive things because we move with purpose. We're going to be working on trying to get this Supabase Docker image working and building out this coaching app, and then we're going to be reviewing the AWS outage. Don, were you affected by the AWS outage? I know my company was. I'm not sure if you guys use AWS over there, but I know we were, and a lot of companies were like scrambling. There's a lot of reliance on and it can happen to anybody. So you were like, oh, what can we do? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it during our breaks. Let me check the chat to see what we have going on. Don says, I researched the QA teams in the major companies that run Lotto systems, scratchers, and randomness systems. Interesting. I would love to hear more about that. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna try to. Don is super busy, but I'm gonna try to capture him one of these days to come up and just have a conversation. Like we haven't seen Don in over a year. We're gonna try to bring him up one of these days and have a conversation with him to see how everything's going, what he's working on, all that stuff, right? And Don says Vegas hired mathematicians. Everything is weighed for the house. Of course, like would here's a practical question to everyone who goes to the casinos and put yourself in the shoes of the casino, right? Would you start a business where there was even a modicum of a chance that you would lose money? If like, would you start a business knowing that you're going to like that there's an equal chance of you having to pay out money rather than making money? And if the answer is no, then how could you ever expect to win at a casino? Or betting on sports. Do you think these sports gambling companies, who they're paying influencers millions of dollars for, do you think they would start their business if they thought if there was even a small chance of them losing money? Come on, people, come on. Like, that says we use Google Cloud Platform, and since our clients had some issues. Yep. And I think that if I had to guess, I'd say Google Cloud Platform is probably the least used cloud provider, especially for software applications. I would say it's probably number one is going to be AWS. Number two is going to be Microsoft Azure. And I'll say it's Microsoft Azure because probably like a lot of the government would probably require a lot of people to use that. A lot of their contractors to use that. But then we have, and then it's come like the Google Cloud Platform. I think Google Cloud Platform might be used more for like data processing and stuff like that, depending on what your company, what type of work your company does. But yeah, so all right, we're going to get to work. I am going to put up our first 20 minutes on the clock. And we're gonna go, so this is how we're gonna do it, right? We're gonna focus first on getting Supabase to load up using Docker. And once we get that happening, then we're gonna switch our focus to getting the app started. Because I know we started to build it. We actually need Android Studio, not WebStorm. So we're going to open up Android Studio, and we're going to use Flutter to see if we can get this app started. And then, but I want to get Supabase first because then we're gonna have to tie Supabase into the app. But before we do that, we want to make sure, because last time we were not able to get Supabase up and running, so we're going to focus on that. So I'm going to put up our first 20 minutes on the clock. All right, let's go to is this one working? Cool. And I am going to look for a terminal. Let me look. Terminal to the other side. Why are all these here? All right. So I'm gonna do Docker PS, and we have. So it's trying to bring up Supabase, but it's not able to. Let me see if I can do a Docker. Let me see. Let me do a LS real quick. Let me see. All right, so it's trying. So let me do a Docker logs, and then we'll do Supabase or Docker log Supabase DB. Docker log Supabase DB. All right, so Postgres directory appears to contain a database, skipping initialization, invalid secret key. All right, so some things are not properly set up over here. I'm gonna do a Docker compose down. So let's take down. So I'm taking down Supabase, right? Because it seems like we need to do some configuration for Supabase. So everything is down. Now I'm gonna do a Docker. Let's do a. Let me see if I can do a cat readme. Let me see. All right, so let's go to this URL right here. Let's see if we can figure out how to bring Supabase up. So, we have, all right, self-hosting with Docker. Docker is the easiest way to get started. All right, before you begin. All right, so let's go to before you begin. Installing and running Supabase. Follow these steps to start Supabase on your machine. We did this already. We did that already. We did all this last week. Copy fake environment variables, switch to the Supabase project, Docker compose pull the latest Docker, and then Docker compose. So started in attach mode, that's fine. So copy the fake environment variables. Do we have our fake environment variables here? Maybe that's why it's not working. All right, so let me go and check to make sure that we have our fake environment variables, because I don't see it in here. Let's see, let's say ls cd ... ls speak precisely. All right, so okay, we're inside of this folder. Let me see, cd Supabase ls functions and migrations. All right, let's go back again. ls so we have our spec, we have our source, we have our app, lib test. So where did I copy this from? Copy the Docker. Let me see. Maybe I don't have less Docker compose dev. All right, so let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit to see. Let me open up my file explorer because I need to see where I downloaded Supabase 2. And that way I can let me see. I would have brought it into let me see. All right, let's go over to here. And maybe I would have brought it to Android Studio, maybe? Or Studio. Okay, I found it. So let's do this. So we're gonna go to cd dot dot another cd dot or cd, let's say cd dot dot slash Supabase. And we go here and we have the cd docker. I don't see the I don't see the I don't see the oh, the .env file is not going to show. So if you ls-a l. Okay, there. All right. So my bad. All right. So let's go to speak precisely. All right. Let's go back over here. cd docker ls-a al. It's going to give us a list. All right. So we do have our .env file in here. All right. Cool. So now I guess we should. Let me do. All right, let me open up Android Studio. Because if that is the case, we should have our okay. I think I have an idea what's going on because we have all right. So basically, it was having issue connecting to Postgres, right? Docker PS, but we do have a post. All right, so that's why we couldn't. So I figured it out. That's why we couldn't start. That's why we couldn't start. That's why we couldn't start Supabase because we have a Postgres running right now with our n8n installation. So that means that we need to find n8n and bring and close that so that we can all right, so there we go. That's okay. So that makes a lot more sense. So if I actually was to do localhost 5678. Yep. So if we look over here, right? This is why, because this is running on localhost. It's using Postgres, so that's why we're not able to start up Supabase because Supabase is using Supabase is requiring port 5432 for it can connect to Postgres itself. That makes perfect sense now. Now we are getting somewhere. What I'm gonna do is I need to find out where I actually have n8n installed as well. So let's go to open up another one of these, and I am going to say let's find out where we have it installed. So let's go to. I don't know where I'd look for it. C Web Store, n8n. Maybe it's n8n hosting. ls cd docker compose. ls docker. Ooh, I think it's a cd with Postgres. ls docker compose down. See if that works. All right, so now if we go back to this one and we do docker ps. Oh, sweet. Okay, we were able to take it down. We were able to take it down. All right, perfect. So now we are going to go over to ls. We are inside. All right, so let's see docker compose up to try to bring back up. Oh, shoot, that's fine. I just do another tab. So because now I can monitor what's happening with. All right, so failed to start container Supabase-db. Why is that? All right, so let's do over here, docker ps, restarting base-db. Failed to start container Supabase-db. Postgres directory appears to contain a database. Why though? So this one is passing. All right, let's see if we can reset the whole thing. All right, so let's say docker Docker compose down. And we're going to do the dash. It's not, I don't want to remove the image. Let's say dash V for volume, I think. All right, volume is removed, network is removed. All right, so that's basically, that's good. So now let's try to start it up again because we removed the volume. So that means there's no memory that's being stored. Let's try it again. Let's see if I can get it to start. All right, let's see. So Supabase, why does it say it appears to contain a database? But let's see. It looks like we're able to connect now. So this is not having its, oh wait, nope. There is an issue happening. It says Supabase admin at Supabase fatal password authentication failure failed for Supabase admin user. And then over here, let me zoom out a little bit. Postgres raw doesn't exist. So if we go all the way down to the bottom, let's see what's the final thing we're gonna get. Connection matched for, all right. Connection matched, PG, post all, password, all right, so password authentication is failing. Postgres. All right, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to Gemini. We are gonna go to Gemini, well, we're going to Gemini. Let me look at this documentation first. See advanced. Starts the service in detail, but it's not starting because of some errors, which so we did this part already. Let's say you do this. If you're running, we're not doing that. After all this, you see running in the background, all the services should have status running healthy. If you see created but not running, try starting the service manually. See, but this is not accessing Supabase, updating your services, securing your services, generating keys. The password for the Postgres. So, all right. So update secrets. Update your docker.env file with your own secrets. In particular, these are the required ones. Postgres password, the password for the Postgres raw, JWT secret used by Postgres and go true among others, site URL, the base URL for your site, SMTP, cooler tenant, secret, keybase. You'll need to restart the service for the dashboard is protected with basic auth. The default user and password must be updated before using the Supabase in production. Fair. All right. Supabase public URL. Restarting the services. Stopping all services. Uninstalling. Docker compose down -v. Okay. So, something's weird here. So this is all right. So we're gonna go back over here. Docker compose down. Oops. I'm gonna do -v to clear out the volume. And we are going to open up Android Studio. There's no personal data in here anyways, so we are going to, all right, you must change, let's go, let me hide this over here. So, and this is what this comes with the Postgres itself. You must change before going to production. All right. We have Postgres password. If I'm looking at the passwords that we need, run this form twice to generate a new anon and service API key. Replace the values. Run this form twice. What are you talking about? Okay. So I'm looking at I'm looking at over here to see what we're supposed to put in here. Your app is now running with the default credentials. Secures are all right. So okay, if it's running with the why isn't it working if it's running with default credentials? Let me try to copy that file over again because all right, I'm gonna try to copy the environment variables over again because for some reason with whatever I have in there as a default, it is not working. So we're gonna do cd or not cd. We're gonna do that command shared with us. We are going to do cp // Supabase, and we are going to do Supabase Docker .env example, and we're gonna do in here we're gonna do .env. Enter. All right, so now these should change back to what they were before. And if we were to go to after the service has started, so they said that it should be able to run with these default this default information, right? So if we were to say Docker compose up, we say Docker compose up, it should connect. But all right, let's see what else happens. Fatal role Postgres does not exist. Does not exist. See, I get a bunch of not existing errors, right? A bunch of Postgres errors. So I think that something is, and I did exactly what the instructions said. So I think that something is actually missing here. So we're gonna use Gemini to help us try to fix this thing. Let me see. All right, so we're gonna go to Gemini because this is their doc, and this is the thing with documentation. Like they'll give you how it's supposed to work perfectly until you actually try to use it, and then they'll and then now you don't have any place to reference when you're having issues. So that's why we're gonna go to Gemini, and I'm going to say I'm trying to start up Supabase locally using Docker, and that's probably why it didn't work on DigitalOcean as well, right? Let's go over here. So using Docker, but it is not able to start. I keep getting these errors when trying to start it up. And I am going to say, second. All right, we're about to go to break. I just want to put in the errors that we're getting. So I want to do this one. I want to do this one right here. I'm just gonna put some of the errors that I'm getting because maybe I might already know exactly what the problem is and help us fix that. I'm gonna say this one. All right, let's go with these and see what we can get out of it. Let's go with that. So basically, I'm copying and pasting the errors that I got from the Docker logs in Supabase, because then maybe Gemini can say, oh, you just got to do this, and we can reset things and start it over. You know, I wonder if there's any new models. Nope. All right. So it says the solution. So the error typically means your local Docker environment is in a broken state, likely from incomplete or a failed previous startup. The logs show the database container Supabase is starting, but is persistent data volume is incomplete. It's missing the core _Supabase database and the Postgres role. The other services like Supabase Analytics are trying to connect to the database that doesn't exist and causing them to fail. The solution is to completely stop all services, delete the local database volumes, forcing Docker to create a fresh, clean instance. First, ensure that everything is stopped from your run this from your project directory. Destroy all the from your project root. Did I do that? Let me see. Did I miss a step? Let's see. Copying, and Supabase project, and then Docker Compose pull, Docker Compose up. And then when you want to stop it, I feel like I'm missing something, but okay. All right. So so we did this part already. So start fresh. Wait, go back to your project directory and do. Why are you doing Supabase start if we're supposed to be doing Docker Compose up? This will pull images if needed, and most importantly, create brand new empty volumes. Let me ask, why are we doing Supabase start if and not doing Docker Compose up? That's a good question. I'm not understanding that part right there. Understanding that part right there. I guess the heart of Supabase CLI works, but I don't have Supabase CLI, I don't believe. So the answer is Supabase Start is a smart wrapper that runs Docker Compose up for you, but only after it does crucial if you only ran Docker Compose up, service would fail or run with incorrect default settings because they wouldn't have the project specific configuration. Here's exactly what Supabase Start does. So here's exactly what Supabase Start does that Docker Compose does not. Reads your configuration. The CLI first reads your main config.toml. This file contains your project specific settings like port numbers, secrets, generates Docker environment, then it dynamically generates the necessary .env file and configuration. Initializes database, runs Docker Compose, performs. But in short, you can think of it like this. Docker Compose up just turns on the machine, has no idea what they're supposed to do. Supabase starts like the project manager. But if we look at the documentation over here, did it say anything about doing Supabase start? Make all right. CD into the folder, Docker Compose up. All right. Am I missing something here? Before you begin. Okay. Installing and running. All right. Well, we'll give that a try. We shall give that a try. That's very weird to me, but I don't know. We will try, and I might not even have the Supabase CLI installed, so we'll probably have to do that. And once we do that, then we'll try the Docker Compose. We shall see. We shall see. But we are at break. I'm going to go and check the chat, and then we're going to get into our break time conversation. We got my guy in the building, Junior Largy in the building, says, what's up? What's up? What's up, family? What's good, Junior? How is everything going? Hopefully you are doing phenomenal. All right. We're going to jump into our first topic of conversation for tonight, right? So let's go to, let me get this off the screen. So what was the financial impact of the Amazon Web Services outage from Monday, October 20th, 2025? For those who did not know, Amazon's Web Services, they had a major outage that caused so many different companies to have downtime this past Monday, right? October 20th, 2025. For those watching in the future, this happened on Monday, October 20th, 2025. People woke up and it was happening. I'll actually be reviewing, I'll be doing like a post-mortem on Friday's episode of the Bug Bite about what actually caused the AWS outage. It was high level, it was a DNS issue with one of their database services, but the intricacies of what would cause it is absolutely out of this world. All right. So, but let's find out exactly what is going on with this. I'm going to go over to here and we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock. All right. So it says the estimates on the financial impact. Can I zoom in some more? Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. The estimates on the financial impact of yesterday's, which would be Monday, October 20th, 2025. Yesterday's AWS outage ranged from hundreds of billions of dollars to over 75 million per hour. But one thing we can all agree on, it was pretty bad. So basically, PC Gamer magazine, written by Andy Edser, is estimating that the financial impact of the AWS outage is in the hundreds of billions to over 75 million per hour. And why is it so much? Because so many companies, they rely on AWS to keep their applications up and running. So for this type of issue, where it's this DNS issue, where all of their services get brought down, which means all of these other companies who rely on AWS get brought down, who rely on AWS US East 1 region get brought down, it's millions of dollars for all of these companies. All right. So let's read. A semi-good thing is that it happened in the middle of the night. So if it happened in the middle of the day, it would have been a nightmare. It would have been a total nightmare. It was bad enough as it is, right? But it would have been bad. It says, a butterfly flaps its wings again. I don't know what that means, but let's continue reading. It says, large parts of the internet are still in a state of recovery today. Yeah, it took about 2 days for companies to recover. After yesterday's AWS outage took out, yesterday meaning Monday, October 20th, 2025, AWS outage took out large portions of our beloved World Wide Web, thanks to what appears to be relatively simple DNS error. Even Fortnite, yes, even Fortnite, y'all. Even Fortnite, Roblox, and Reddit dealt with significant disruptions, a fate worse than death for many of their users, I'm sure. Possibly. One thing that didn't go down for sure was YouTube, because YouTube does not use AWS. YouTube uses Google, right? They should. It says, as the dust begins to settle and services have in large part recovered, it's just left to the analysts to determine exactly how much financial damage was accrued. One such candidate is the CEO of the internet monitoring firm Catchpoint, Mehdi Daoud, who spoke to CNN about the fallout from AWS's rather public face plant. Yes, that was a face plant. It says the incident highlights the complexity and fragility of the internet, as well as how much every aspect of our work depends on the internet to work. That is so true. Because when you think about it now, right? Even validate, like, now that everything is a SaaS model, even if you have a software on your local machine, right? You still need to connect to a licensing server, and if that licensing server is going through AWS, you probably weren't able to use your application in the middle of the night, or that morning, because AWS is down. It can't connect to the subscription server to make sure that things are working, right? That's how the cookie crumbles, all right? Let's see. It says the financial impact of this outage will easily reach into the hundreds of billions due to loss in productivity for millions of workers that cannot do their job, plus business operations that are stopped or delayed from airlines to factories. That is true. It's hardcore truth. If people can't work, guess what? The companies still have to pay them for being there. And services cannot be rendered to your clients as well. It's crazy. It is crazy. All right. Let me see. It says, while that figure initially seems excessive, when you take into account the scope of the outage, it's perhaps not too far out from the realm of plausibility. After all, Amazon Web Services is said to be the largest cloud provider in existence, estimated to command around 30% of the global market share. And this is from people all over the world. Now, I don't think people in other parts of the world might have had experienced this issue I take that back. Why do I take that back? So I take that back because just because you might be using, let's say, EUS1, because let's say you're in Europe, right? Europe, EUS1 is based in Ireland. That's where that data center is. But that doesn't mean that the routing in the DNS doesn't happen through the US East 1 DynamoDB, which was the root cause of the issue. So that's a question. Would your service being hosted in another region, does it still route through the DynamoDB that is in US East 1 to handle the DNS? So that, I don't know, that is something to think about. That is something to think about, all right? Let's see. It says, and of course, a large number of businesses using its service engage in e-commerce, not least of all Amazon itself. So a large number of businesses using its service engage in e-commerce, not least of all Amazon itself. So even Amazon's, I didn't check Amazon's website that morning, to be honest with you, right? Because we're dealing with our own issues. It's difficult to get an exact figure as to how much Amazon's retail behemoth alone makes in 24 hours, but the total revenue across its services is estimated to be about 1.75 billion per day. Y'all see? Amazon's estimated total revenue across its services is estimated at 1.75 billion, not per year, per day, y'all. With retail sales being one of the largest contributors next to, well, its AWS platform. Yes, Jeff Bezos is very pleased, I'm sure. Less so yesterday. I'm also fairly confident in saying, as its US retail site stumbled for many, including us, we were looking for GPU deals, of course. We still found some, just saying. Anyway, factor in the e-commerce relying on AWS platform, including Amazon itself, and that's likely a substantial $1 billion chunk right there, even if their disruption only lasted an hour or two. And of course, e-commerce is just one potential loser. Data from UI design agency Tenscope suggests that while Amazon was losing, while they're using $72,831,050 per hour, others like Snapchat, Zoom, Roblox, etc., account for roughly $75 million per hour total. Oof, my goodness. So while Amazon was losing $72 million per hour, others like Snapchat, Zoom, Roblox account for a rough $75 million per hour as well. Loss across 8 companies, while delivery company Parcel Hero pointed to $5.4 billion loss for Fortune 500 companies like in the CrowdStrike disaster as an example of potential figures. That is totally insane. It says rough figures and wildly differing estimates, I'm sure you'll agree. The reason why it's so difficult to pin down an exact number on revenue loss during such a massive outage are are multiple and complicated. After all, how do you put a monetary value on individual workers' time, as many were left twiddling their thumbs while they waited for key services to come back online? Whew. Or, as Dadu states, or Dadai? Dowdai? Oh, I'm sorry. The knock-on effect of major infrastructure stumbles like delayed flights or banking services lagging, or even major crypto transactions being delayed or disrupted. Yes, crypto is a big deal these days. I'm as disappointed as you are. Regardless, the whole thing brings to mind the aforementioned CrowdStrike bug, in which a Bork security update caused Microsoft infrastructure caused Microsoft infrastructure the world over to crumble, causing chaos wherever it went. And again, it makes me think about the fragility of our ever interconnected world, when so much of our infrastructure, economic or otherwise, is reliant on a handful of platforms. Significant disruptions like this really do look like they might become something of a running theme in years to come. I don't know about that, because I mean, yeah, they will, but these things that happen are so rare. They're so rare that when they do happen, it becomes a big deal and they're all over the news. But because if these could be common, then they'd be talking about it a lot more often. But I really, it's not something that's going to happen on a regular basis. I know that for sure. Sure, this is the first big one that we've experienced in over a year. But, and here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. This is totally different. This is a totally different outage than CrowdStrike, because with the CrowdStrike outage, that was a software update that affected hardware that caused Microsoft, like Windows, to not be able to start up. This one is connectivity to the internet. So they're two totally different issues that happened. And I honestly don't think CrowdStrike is that big to be compared to AWS outage. And there were two totally different issues, right? It says, sure, this is the first big one we've experienced in over a year, but all it takes is one digital butterfly to flap its wings, and a whole lot of money seems certain to blow away in the wind. So that was a butterfly reference. All right. That's it. That is it. Interesting as it is. I haven't really heard much talk about this outage, as I would expect to. It rumbled for that day, but companies were trying to recover. Maybe we'll hear more about it, the total cost that it had. I'm not sure. I am not sure, but we are going to get back to work. Let me check the chat really, really quick, and then we'll figure it out. Let me see. Junior says the sound was low for back to work. I don't really have a way to test that, but I'll look into that one later. Let me know, did the other sound okay? Because that one might be a little off, but I'll have to check that one later. Let me see. All right, so let's go. Let's actually get back to work now. Let's try to see. Let me see. Can I make this one stay on top? Let me see. Maybe I can. All right. So let's actually get back to work, and we will go to the 20 minutes. And let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and see. Let me see. Supabase stop. I don't think I have the Supabase CLI installed. I do not. So let's see if we can install the Supabase CLI. So I don't have the Supabase CLI installed. How can I install it? Maybe I can. I'm on a Mac. Maybe it's just a brew install Supabase. Let's see. We can do brew install Supabase. Let's see. If you don't have homebrew installed, you can get it by running a single command. Brew tap Supabase / tap. Brew install Supabase. Let's do that. All right, cool. So we're gonna say brew tap Supabase / tap. And then brew install Supabase. Yeah, they didn't mention about this inside of the the documentation for Supabase. So that's why I'm a little confused by that. It says your command line tools are too outdated. Update them from software update and system settings. If that doesn't show you any what? I need to, oh my God, are you kidding me? Alternatively, manually down your command line tools. Are you serious? All right, let me check the system settings. Hopefully it doesn't make me restart the computer. Let's see if I go to system settings. Software update. All right, they wanted me to update my entire Mac, which we definitely cannot do right now while we're on the stream. Ergo, we will have to go through the npm route. So, what is the npm route? npm install Supabase dash okay. npm install save dev. Copy that. Then you will run command using npx Supabase. Once installation is complete, you can verify it by checking this. Okay. All right, let's try that. Let's go over here. npx install Supabase. Let's see. Did that work? npx Supabase start. Look at the instructions. If I do that, so let's, all right, so before we even do that, let's do a Docker compose down -v, get rid of everything. All right, now they say to do a Supabase, Supabase stop, npx Supabase stop Supabase local development. All right, now they say to do a npx Supabase start. See what happens. Terminal would like to access data from other apps. Let's say allow. Oh. So it's pulling it from a different source, I guess. Thought we already had it on our computer, but okay. Maybe I got the wrong Supabase earlier. I don't know. It's still doing it through Docker though, so maybe, I don't know, maybe the instructions that we used from, maybe the official instructions from Supabase are not the clearest, apparently. Let's see if this is able to start us off. Because pulling from Supabase Postgres. and it pulled it from the ECR AWS Supabase Postgres. Downloaded the newer image. Okay. Now it's doing Supabase real time. So it got the Postgres one. Now it's doing real time. Now it's doing storage API. Some stuff already existed. Okay. I'm going to say Gemini for the win, apparently, because it did not give us all this information before. Let me see something real quick. See something real quick. All right, so it looks like our Supabase is up and running. I think I know what happened with the other thing, Junior. Looks like it was the volume was just set low on the Stream Deck to play it. So I'm raising up the volume a little bit. There. Hopefully that fixes it. Cool. Perfect. All right. So it looks like that is up and running. Let me see. Docker PS. Whoa, look at that. All of that is up and running. So cool. Cool. So basically just doing Supabase start, it went and it pulled it all from AWS ECR instead of, we got it from last time. Okay, well, whatever. I think we're good on that end. So now what if we, so now if we were to go to, how do we access it locally? So let's go back over here. So let's look at the instructions over here again. Where would I access the dashboard? I'm not even sure. I'm a little confused now by their documentation, because I am self-hosting it by it being on my computer. So we'll revisit that. Let's see. Yeah, it's running locally on my computer. So what's the dashboard URL then? Let's see, dash. To access the dashboard, that's DigitalOcean. You want to update Studio dashboard, dashboard authentication. All right, so let's say I have Supabase running now. How would I access the dashboard? Okay. So you can access Supabase dashboard, the local dashboard with the URL of this URL. When you run Supabase Start, your terminal usually prints. I didn't see anything printed out. Oh, there it is. So if we go look over here, there it goes right here. It's printed out. Yep, you're right. Let's see. Look at that. Look at that. We have our own local Supabase running now. All right. So now that we have this running, let's see if we can have our application use it. Let's find out. So let's go back over here. We're gonna jump over here. See how much memory this is using on the computer. It's not bad actually. It's not bad. Not too bad. All right. Yeah, we're actually doing pretty good on memory. Okay, so I'm going to say that let's close this out. Okay, so let's say which one are we using? So if we were to try to let's open up an emulator. Use up more memory. We say device manager, and we're going to let's start up with Pixel 8. See what we get from that. Are you starting? Let's see. There you go. All right, so we have our Pixel 8 running. Let's see if we can run the app somehow. Edit configuration. Run the app. Dart SDK is not configured. All right, let's fix that. Enable Dart support. Where is my Dart? Base folder. Check now. Okay. Dart SDK path. Where would I find my Dart SDK path? Let me open up a terminal. Which Dart. So we would say this would be the SDK path. The folder specified as Dart SDK home does not exist. Sure about that? The folder, all right. Dart 3.94 is available for download. It's finding the Dart. All right, so let's see. Check now. Download. Takes me to another page. So if we were to say, let's say we go here, cancel, brew, install Dart. Are you kidding me? Are you not gonna let me upgrade my thing? Your command line tools are too outdated. Alternatively, you can Dart -- version. They are not letting me upgrade unless I update my entire computer. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. But I should still be able to. Okay, let's do that. I should still be able to use Dart for, maybe I can use the older version of Dart for now until I can upgrade the entire computer. All right, let's say, oops. Oh yeah, wait, that's correct. Open Dart settings, enable Dart support. The error is not, what do you mean it's not, does not exist? Let's see if I do brew upgrade Dart. Probably gonna be that same error. Yup. Darn it. All right. Dart settings. I don't know why it's not enable Dart support for the project. And if I was to say, it has it here. Dart SDK is not found in the specified location. What do you mean? Wait, no, that's not right. Dart. Which Dart? Opru bin. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Enable Dart support. Bin. Oh, there's not a folder called Dart in here. Dart SDK not found in the specified location. If I go on here and I say which Dart, you'll say that it's using this path. Okay. Dart entry point. Dart SDK not configured. Go fix. Enable Dart support. I can't actually click on one of these. So let's go back over to here. And trying to add Dart support in Android Studio. I'm getting the error that Dart SDK. Let me put exactly what I got. Meaning Dart SDK. Dart SDK is not found in the specified location, although I can see the Dart file. That's what this says real quick before we go to break. Because I can see the Dart file, so I'm not sure why it's saying that it can't find it. And if we have to like restart the whole entire computer before, I guess not gonna make any sense. Frameworks, Flutter. Okay, so let's go ahead. So it's a very common issue. The problem isn't that the file is missing, is that you're telling Android Studio to look in the wrong level of directory. Android Studio doesn't want the path to Dart executable itself. It wants a path to the Dart SDK folder that contains the SDK files like bin, lib, include folder. The easiest way, set the SDK path, set the Flutter SDK path. If you're using Flutter, you shouldn't set the Dart SDK path at all. You should set the Flutter SDK path, and Android Studio will automatically find the. All right, so let's go to. I'm gonna go over here. File settings, Android Studio, preferences, languages and frameworks, Flutter. I wonder if I do which Flutter, I get this one. And if I do in here, which Flutter, okay, I get the same one there. All right, so let's do, if we go here and we go to settings, languages and frameworks, we do that. Okay. The folder specified as a Flutter educated home does not. Take this one out. Oops. Check that one more time. Let's see, settings. Okay, that's good. And then they said you should, for the Flutter SDK where it's located, click apply. All right, so let's say, okay. Still not picking up the Dart file, Dart path though. Still not picking up the Dart path. I said enable. Let's say we do here. There goes Dart right there. Okay, well, whatever. We'll try to figure that part out because that's why it's gonna prevent the app from. If we don't have Dart, it's gonna prevent the app from starting. So we're gonna have to figure that out. It's not the first time that I've seen this issue, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, let's go to. I did not play. I did not play anything at the time. But did it sound better when you heard lunch break, Junior? Did it sound any better with the because I increased the volume, so when it went to say lunch break, it should have been a little bit louder. All right, we are going to get into another topic, which is, let me see. For this break, we're going to be talking about 8 Sleep. Have you heard of 8 Sleep? I had not heard of them, but I heard that the AWS outage affected how people actually sleep. So I want to jump into that with you to find out. So first we're gonna find out what exactly is 8 Sleep. Then we're look around on their website, and then we're gonna look into how the AWS outage actually affected them. So let's jump into that now. So that is Pod 5, which is made by 8 Sleep. I just want to take a quick look around. We saw the video. Basically, it's this little thingy right here, and then you get the blanket, and you get, I guess, this base here that will lift the bed and stuff like that. But real quick question: how much does this thing cost? HSA eligible. Interesting. Let me see. How much does this thing cost? Let me see. Shop the pod. $200. All right. So if it's $200 off, that means it probably costs a couple of grand. Let's see. Shop the pod. Let me see. Couple of grand. $3,000 for the cover in the pod. It is let me see. Cover in pod, $2,600. For the cooling and heating on each side is $3,000. Sleep and health tracking, vibration and thermal alarm. That's pretty cool. And about $5,000 for that base part right here. And the cover and the hub. Okay. Includes autopilot. What's the autopilot plan? Oh, there's a monthly fee associated with this as well. So, oh wait, you got to choose your size too. All right, so let's say, so I'm guessing the queen size is going to be the $5,000. The king size is going to be also $5,000. Oh wait, no, there it goes. Okay, so 54899. How do we get up to? Oh, because they're adding in the autopilot plan as well, billed annually. And you get everything in standard plus peace of mind 5-year warranty, automatic temperature adjustment, sleep and health reports, vibrations and thermal alarms, snoring detection and mitigation. Let me put up 5 minutes as well. Everything enhanced plus health check for advanced well-being, cardiovascular and respiratory monitoring, and surface health abnormalities for $400 per month. All right, let's go with the enhanced. Optional leg kit. Maybe if you're doing a platform bed, I guess. Let's see. You get the blanket for $1,000. And we get a cover for a blanket for another $200. And also a pod pillow cover for an additional $1,000. Okay, so we're up to over $7,000 for this whole thing. Let's see. You can get 2 pillow covers because I mean, who's gonna get their own pillow, right? Let's see. King size pillows, of course, right? There you have it. So about $8,000 for this. So this little this pod 5, right? They also experienced outages from AWS, so people's sleep were affected as well. Let's find out what happened with that, right? So why do I have this thing down here? Get rid of this thing, can I? Let's get rid of that in my way. All right. Okay, so let's see what exactly happened to 8 Sleep's Pod 5 technology that runs on AWS. So the Amazon Web Services outage even broke people's beds. The tech we use every day is a lot like a titular Wizard of Oz. It seems to work like magic, but behind the digital curtain is a lot of machinery creating that illusion. Whether you're swapping selfies on Snapchat or on Snapchat, do people still use Snapchat? I don't know. Or binging shows before Hulu gets phased out, there's a data center somewhere making it all happen. These facilities house countless computers chugging away 24/7 to make sure you can scroll, game, and even do your banking online. But big data comes with big risk, as shown when Amazon Web Services took down a number of popular services and products when it experienced an outage on October 20th, 2025. Among them, some people's smart beds. I had never heard of smart beds before. Now I was like, smart beds? What's a smart bed? Now I must say, this 8 Sleep looks absolutely amazing, incredible. Do I see myself spending $8,000 on a bed? Or not even a bed, on the accessories for a bed? Probably not. Probably not, but it does look remarkable though. It says, highlighting how deeply interwoven into our lives that big data has become, the AWS disruption even managed to break some people's beds. More specifically, proud owners, and you definitely gotta be proud to own an $8,000 bed accessories, right? Proud owners of 8 Sleep System found their expensive water-cooled mattress covers temporarily turned into literal wet bags. That sounds disgusting. I must say, that sounds disgusting. The incident prompted the company to develop a fail-safe to appease users, many of whom were stunned to learn that server-side turbulence could lead to an equally turbulent night of sleep. Here's what happened. I'm curious to hear about this, right? Here's what happened and why the story is significant regardless of whether your bed uses Wi-Fi. Amazon's outage turned 8 Sleep smart beds into wet bags. That sounds disgusting. I have to say it again. Every time I hear that, it sounds disgusting. 8 Sleep was affected by the widespread outage of Amazon Web Services on October 20th, leaving its users tossing and turning. And I would, if I paid that much money for a bed, I would never. Even if I had 1 minute of uncomfortable sleep, I would be very, very upset. Very upset. All right. The 8 Sleep system is essentially a mattress cover that pumps temperature-controlled water through a base station. Oh, it pumps water through it, reading a user's body temperature overnight and heat. Let me know if that sounded better, Junior. Let me know if that sounded better. It says the 8 Sleep system is essentially a mattress cover that pumps temperature-controlled water through a base station, reading the user's body temperature overnight and heating or cooling them accordingly. The company also offers pillow covers for $1,000 and blankets for $1,000, as well as a base that adjusts the position of the mattress. The system is generally well regarded, but is also pricey. Oh, we saw that. The whole kit and caboodle can run over $7,000, $8,000, with an additional monthly subscription, so customers may justifiably expect a premium experience. Yes, not sleeping on a wet bag. Sounds disgusting. That experience was disrupted Monday night when 8 Sleep owners found their expensive bed kit unresponsive. Love my Pod 4, you got a Pod 5, but internet outage equals a bed outage? Really? 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 Wrote one user on Reddit, referencing the company's last generation flagship product. Another claimed that their girlfriend's side of the bed was locked at a sweltering 110 degrees. Holy crap. That's hot. CEO Matteo Franchetti acknowledged the situation in an X post, promising to roll out an update that would keep 8 Sleep systems functioning during an outage. An update was, I mean, there has to be some type of manual control. There has to be some type of manual control where you can like manually turn it up or down, right? An update was rolled out on Tuesday, and sometimes that's how you get the, like, you need to have an outside issue that's going to trigger how you're going to make updates internally to deal with these with these external issues, right? An update was rolled out on Tuesday, adding an outage mode that provides Sleep 8 users with basic functionality even if servers go down. Owners will now be able to use Bluetooth to turn their beds on or off, adjust mattress positions, and change the temperature. Of course, by tying 8 Sleep functions into an internet-connected solution, this kind of service interruption was always a possibility. Like, what if you lose Wi-Fi connection? Duh. Like that could easily happen. Like, because what if the Wi-Fi goes down in the middle of the night? Because you can have Comcast. You can have Comcast, and service goes down. You lose internet connection, like we do here sometimes, right? And now everything disconnects. So I wouldn't base that off the outage coming from your cloud provider. It could easily happen on the other side as well. Well, this was kind of necessary a long time ago. Of course, by tying AC functions to an internet-connected subscription, that kind of service interruption was always a possibility. At least users can rest assured, literally, they can rest assured that they won't be totally out of luck in case AWS goes down again. 8 Sleep woes highlight the danger of centralized internet. It says Amazon, Google, and Microsoft make up the bulk of cloud service market, combined with support virtually every popular app, service, and Internet of Things product relied on by billions of users across the world. When a problem occurs with any of these, the fallout often brings critical services crashing down, much like the CrowdStrike outage that cost the economy billions in 2024. Though not a computer provider, CrowdStrike cybersecurity software is woven through enough digital infrastructure that a cascading failure even caused airplanes to be grounded. Says, moreover, the 8 Sleep incident points out the temporary nature of any product that needs a service to function. That is true, a server to function. There is a documented pattern of companies turning off servers, leaving customers with a product that no longer works. In October 2025, Bose announced it was pulling the plug on its SoundTorch smart speakers, turning them into a dumb speaker. That's funny. In 2024, Spotify stopped supporting its Car Thing player, leaving it non-operational. And who could forget when Google killed Stadia? I never heard of Stadia. To its credit, Google refunded owners of its cloud gaming controller and gave them a way to turn Stadia into a Bluetooth controller. But every company is so kind. But not every company is so kind. Besides, that support window has closed. Consumer rights advocates and environmentalists have pushed for laws that would force companies to issue clear end of support timelines and clarify which features users will lose. Those efforts have so far seen scant results. Meanwhile, others such as Fulu Foundation have launched efforts to tackle these issues from the users' end by helping users build fixes to defunct zombie devices. That is tough. That is tough, right? But that's the article. Let me know your thoughts. Well, first of all, if you own an 8 Sleep or Sleep 8 device, let me know, because first I have to say shout out to you for sleeping in a first class mattress cover, right? That's awesome. But were you affected? Were you affected by the outage? Did your bed become a wet bag? Disgusting. Did you end up sleeping in a 110-degree mattress? Or was it like freezing cold? What did you do? How did you handle? Did you just unplug it? What did you do? Let me know. Let me know how you dealt with it. Would you buy an 8 Sleep mattress or mattress cover? I think that having everything solely rely on the connection, like on servers, is not good, because, like we just read, these providers can disconnect their services, the servers that they're connected to, and now you're left out of luck. So we need to have a healthy balance of it all. All right. But that is that topic. I am going to jump over and check if there's anything in the chat, and then we will move on to the next topic, or next working segment. All right. Let me see. Junior says lunch break was, why is it? I'm gonna have to test it out, because I don't know why. It should sound normal. So I'm not sure what exactly is going on. Says the sound was super low, barely heard the end part. Says there's no sound. There's no sound in the video? Let me see. I have to cut that part out then. Why is it not? Hold on, let me see something. Real quick.
This,
There should be sound on the video.
Intelligent.
You can't hear that?
Effortless. It doesn't replace your bed.
You can't hear that? There should be sound. I see sound coming through. No? Let me know if you can hear that, because I see sound coming through, unless something on my end isn't working. But I saw sound. Let me check this. I see things coming through. Let me see what is going on over here. Put myself on mute. I heard it. I just tried it on my phone. I heard it. I don't know. Now I'm lost. Now I'm lost. I'll test it out. I will test it out after the show and see what is going on. Make sure that all the sounds are coming through. All right, let's go to, let's see. She says they got an old-fashioned waterbed. Imagine if somebody drowned in their own bed. That's why I was never really too fond of water beds, because what if you end up drowning in your own bed? That would be the worst way to go out. That would be the worst way to go out. It says all that came through was keep a move on. And the rest. Huh. I guess like I'm gonna have to play with that. I'm gonna have to go to those sections to see what exactly is going on, because they should be coming through. I don't know why they wouldn't be coming through. I have to check the audio configurations. All right, let's jump into our last segment. Let me know how my sound. Let me know how my sound sounds as well. Because I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't go too loud, that we are at a good sound level, but it's not too low as well. So let me know if my sound sounds good as well. But let's jump in. Okay, while I press this, I'm gonna make sure I'm looking at to see how this goes, because maybe it is not properly being routed through this. Let's see, let's go to last segment. All right, let me know if that sounded good, Junior. Let me know if you were able to hear that one, because that one came through on my end at full sound. So let me know how that works for you. All right, let's go over to, let me get this down. Let's try to see why Dart is not popping up in here. I know it works in the, let me do this. Let me open up another project. Go to the time cost calculator, new window. And let me see why my Dart configuration is not applicable. Settings. Oh, okay. So here's what it has in the other one. So if I close this and I go back over here and I go to settings and I go to my Dart path and I drop that in there. No module selected. All right, let's enable that. All right, so now we should be good. That's weird. That is so weird. It's inside the cache folder. All right, so let me close this, not to use too many resources. All right, so let's see now if we were to, all right, let's do a Dart fix, see what happens. All right, so let's try to run this on the Pixel to see if we can get anything to start up. Let's see what we get. Let's see if anything starts up with this speaking app, the Speak Coach app. What do we call it? Speak Precisely? Yep, Speak Precisely AI. Let's see. Timeout waiting for Dart plugin to start DevTools. Okay, let's see what else happens. Takes a little time on its first time. So it's trying to connect to Supabase right here. Let me hide that. Okay. Got my guy Magnetar in the building, says Sith Coach Ralph. What's up, Magnetar? Sounds like it's coming through the mic, and then the mic is using the noise cancellation feature and canceling it out. Interesting. That is interesting. I wonder why. Because I'm looking at the audio mixer right here, and everything seems to be coming through as it should. We'll figure it out. We shall figure it out. All right, so it failed. Let's see why it failed. The plugin Flutter Sound requires a higher Android SDK version. Fix this issue by adding to the following file. Build.gradle. I really want to, so I see the Supabase configuration in there. I'm really curious to see if it's actually going to connect to it. Let's see. I think they need to make Flutter start using a higher version of a higher version of the minimum SDK. This is in the app folder. Nope, not that one. If I go here and I say Android app, what is build.gradle KTS? Is it this one? Android app build.gradle. Android default config. Let's say we call this speak precisely. Min SDK version 24. Let's see. Following this change, your app will not be available to run on, which is fine because I think they require 35 anyways. Let's go with 24 over here. Let's see what happens. Try to run it again. Let's see. Your project is configured within 26. Add the following to the Gradle. All right. Let's take that. Let's do that. Let's try running it again. Stop. Let's run again. Okay. Something is happening now. I'm just curious to see how it's gonna, like, if it's gonna pop up, how it's gonna look, and then we can see how it connects to Supabase, right? If it does, like, it might not even connect to Supabase yet. I thought I changed this name, no? Didn't I update this name? Oh, updated. All right, so something got installed. Ooh, it's something actually started up. A cool logo would be like some type of microphone, right? All right, so let's see what's happening. Installing the app. All right, let's see if we can. This is just a basic. This is something just basic. All right, so Supabase. All right, so I'm looking over here before we even like look at the app. looking at the logs that are happening, it installed this, installing using the impeller rendering backend, debug. Okay, cool. And so it looks like it's connected to Supabase at least. Supabase init completed. Let me pop this up into a bigger window. So this is just basically the Flutter demo is what we're looking at right now. Oops. So this is just a Flutter demo. So now that we got this up and running, what do we need to? So we have Supabase, Flutter demo. Cool. So now if we go to over here, so that's done. So here we did. I have completed the planning for the UI UX design. The project is now set up with initial design. Here, okay, did I ever do an implement? I don't think I did an implement yet. So let's do, the next step would be to proceed with the implementation of the UI UX based on these planning documents. Let me see what else we did first. So this is, all right, so task. So let's try to do something. Let's go to plan and design, code, coordinate tasks. Let's go to code, and we are going to. But what about the? What would be the next step to? Hold on. I don't think that'd be the next step though. Because what about implementing? Let me check Spec-kit for a second here. Spec GitHub. Let's go over here real quick, right? If I want to actually, so we have all of our specifications already written. So Spec-kit implement to execute all tasks and build your feature according to the plan. All right. So if we want, so what if I don't want to implement all tasks? So what if I want to implement like a task? All right. Let's go to specify specs. Well, tasks would be to. So let's start off with, I guess we'll do, all right, let's just do implement. Let's see what happens if we do implement. I would expect in this Spec-kit where I could say, specify or Spec-kit implement, that I could tell it which one I actually want to implement. Because like I shouldn't have to say like just do everything, right? All right, whatever. Let's do it. Let's see how far I can get. I don't know what's happening because I see stuff. I see things happening on my end, but you guys say you're not hearing it. Let me try. I'm gonna try again. Hold on. Let me try again. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So you guys are saying you don't hear that. You didn't just hear you don't know the power of the dark side. Am I losing my mind? Hold on. I don't. Monitor and output the soundboard. That's fair. Let me see. Can you guys? Do you guys hear this? See, on my end, I hear it twice though. Let me see. Nope. Even I didn't hear it. That is so weird. That is so weird because I can see it. I can see it coming through, but you guys can't hear it. That makes no sense at all. You know what? No, didn't do it. Interesting.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Let me see. I heard it now. I heard it now. I don't know why though. I might have an idea. But let me try one more time. All right. I think I know what's going on, but that's for another day to figure out. All right. So let's get back to work. All right. So it did a bunch of stuff. Let me this one thing over here. It's hard to read. All right, so I have implemented the basic UI for the application following the calm clarity design. The UI is currently using placeholder data. The next step would be to integrate Supabase backend. Let's see, a new app theme with custom. All right, so let's start the app over again. Stop it. Let me open this up. All right. Oh, we got some issues happening. A bunch of fonts aren't coming through. Couldn't resolve the package permission and here.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
Let's see if we can get this part working before we get out of here. Copy this so we can get this working. We are getting these errors when trying to start the application. Debug. Paste that. It'll be cool to see what's the design that it came up with, and that way then we can at least see something, because we got Supabase up and running. Would get a mobile UI layout up and running, and then next time we could actually start plugging it up to Supabase and everything like that. I'm really perplexed why this is happening, because although it's running on a separate channel, oh, I see. Audio track 1. That's dumb. Audio. I think I know what's happening, but all right. All right. I will figure that out. Recording. Audio tracks. Audio tracks. But streaming is going to choose 1. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Learning about audio and video and all that good stuff and how it works with streaming. Okay. Let's see what they were to say here. If we go to all right, we will let's say we go which Flutter. We copy that. That way it can be able to run it itself. If we go back over here and we say to Flutter get. Do this. It's not in the system's path. You need to locate the Flutter SDK to run the Flutter. I'll search for the Flutter executable. All right. Just wrote it myself. Let's just run it myself. For some reason, it does not do a good job at pub-get. Expected to find the project root in the pwd ls. cd app ls Flutter pub-get. All right. Now let's try to run that again. See if we can get the app started, and then we can wrap it up for today. I had one more topic to talk about. We're gonna do it. We're gonna talk about that topic, and then we're gonna get out of here. Let's see. Let's get the app running first, though. See what UI UX it came up for us, if possible. Ooh, let's see what's going on here. Built app installing fatal exception. Unable to instantiate activity component. Didn't find class. Main app, main activity. Main activity. Possibly because I changed something that I shouldn't have changed. Did I? What is this? App. So let's say that I'm going to copy this error. I really want to see something start and not just the Flutter default. Now when trying to start the app, I got this error. Possibly because I changed something, but let's see. The Android runtime cannot find the main activity for the application. Examine the build defines application ID as this. But yeah, I shouldn't have changed it. I made a mistake. All right. I'll now read that. I've confirmed that the package name is this, while the application is that. To fix this, I will update the package name and main activity to match application ID. First I will move the file. All right, let's run the command. All right. So hopefully that did it. And if we go and we try to run again, stop that. Stop that. Why is this not stopping? All right, there we go. Let's run that. Let's see if anything is going to pop up. Something is starting up. Let's see if it's going to be the demo app. Ooh, I have no idea what the login is. I have no idea what the login is. But it's up. And we have some type of design. I don't know what the login would be. Let me see. But it's something. It is something. We're making progress. We are making progress. Let me close this. I don't know how to get past this page, so we're not going to dive deep into it. We'll leave it as that for today, for tonight. But we know that we got something showing up. Let me see. Admin password. Good. Yeah. Good enough for now. Good enough for now. We have a login page. What are we supposed to do with it? I don't quite know yet. Let's see. Let me ask it real quick. It's asking for a username and password. What should I use to see to log in? Let's see if it gives us anything. I have not implemented a way to create an account. I will add a sign up page to the application. You can create it. I don't want to log in. I just want to be able to see it. That's all. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to be able to get in there, but now I've created a sign-in page. I need to add a button on the login page to navigate to it. I have added the sign-up page and linked it from the login page. You should now be able to create an account. All right, let's try that. Let's try that. I just want to see how it looks once you log in. The next one would be integrate with Supabase back into store user data and recordings, and to implement the speech analysis services. All right. And regardless of what we see here, that's going to be it. Regardless of what we see here, that will be it. By the way, we do have Scrum Night tonight on the Patreon. It will be streamed live from where my Tech Barbarians will be going through their Scrum Night, our sprint review, our sprint retrospective, and our sprint planning for our next 2 weeks. So we're going to be wrapping up our past 2 weeks. We're going to be planning for our next 2 weeks. I don't see this sign in button or sign up button, so we'll leave it at that for now. So it is what it is. All right, cool. Anyways, let me see. I'm gonna push this article to Tuesday night, talking about if we're relying too much on big tech, because I do got to get ready for our Scrum Night tonight. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there, and it's gonna be live inside of the Patreon. So come and see what we're working on, what we have coming up next, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to leave you guys with that for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me check the chat. Let me check the chat one last time before we get up out of here. Let me see. Let's see. Junior said, if you had played something, I read that. It says, it said, nope, I played it. Says the system just wants to give coach a hard time today, but so here's what happened, right? Here's what happened. I switched so I was setting the recording to go on different audio tracks, so like when I bring it to edit it, I can like differentiate the mic from the sound effects from everything else, right? But what happened is when it's streaming, it's not putting them on the main audio track either. So what I think I'm gonna have to do is put everything on track 1, and then when I go to edit, I just get rid of track 1, and then everything else is still going to be split. So you win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day, right? So it's always a learning experience. In whatever it is that we're doing, it's a learning experience, right? on how to optimize our streaming software, how to optimize our applications, how to optimize our code, how to optimize our lives, how to live with purpose. So tomorrow's kind of conversation, we're gonna be talking about purpose. What is your purpose? So tune in for that as well. All right. Let me see what else we got in the chat. Because there's no power. The doctor has no power. Hilarious. Says you have to use a MIDI cable. Let's see. There it is. Yep, got it. So I'm gonna set it up after where everything is recorded to track 1, so that when it's streaming, everyone can hear everything. But then on the separate tracks, those are gonna be for the recording. And so maybe, streaming is on track 1, recording does not record track 1, and it records everything else to properly separate everything. There you go. There, see, solutions. We will build it as we fly it. Lunch break sound good. We got it. And Phil Knight says, what extensions do you use in your editor? So I am using, this particular extension that I'm using is called Kilo Code, where we did some streams on it in the past, but basically it works like cursors, it works like windsurf, but it is a build your own or bring your own API key. So you can use OpenAI's API key, you can use what's the name of the other one? Anthropic's for Claude, you can use Gemini. One of the cool things about Gemini is that with the Gemini Pro using the API key, they give you a certain amount of I think they give you like $15 per day of the Gemini API. I think, don't quote me on that, but they give you a certain amount that you can use that you can use on the house. So what I'm doing is I'm using Gemini, and it's working like a cursor is for me and stuff like that. So, but that is Kilo Code, which they have it available for VS Code, but now they also have it available for the JetBrains product. So I'm using it in Android Studio, in WebStorm, in PyCharm, and all of those good stuff, right? So, but that's what I'm using. Let's see, what else do we have? And shout out to my guy Phil Knight as well. Let's see. Junior says the sound was good. Also, it says great. Thank you so much, Junior. I truly appreciate you.
I appreciate
That means all the sound effects that I was doing earlier today was not coming through. You live and you learn, guys. You live and you learn. But that's why we do this, because every single day we experiment, and the goal is to continue to get better. I'm happy to see that my sound levels are good. They're not clipping, as someone let me know in one of my comments. So we fixed that. Figured out the sound levels. I wonder if even the soundboard came through. Maybe the sounds didn't even come through. Let me fix that one too while I'm here. Then let's go soundboard. Cool, perfect. All right, that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully to see you guys in the Scrum Night in about 30 minutes. I will see you guys then. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
Spartans! What is your profession?
I try to live what they let go, away to dreams they'll never know. But a drowning soul can't save the tide, and now I see I must step aside.
I fought till my hands turned to stone, carrying battles that weren't my own. They swore they'd stand but turned away, left me to bleed in the fray.
I held the line as long as I could, fought for the spark they misunderstood. They whispered dreams they never choose, said they were in but lived to lose. I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout.
I wanted to see your colors fly, but you clipped your wings and let them die. You crave the fall, not the fight to win, a war within that you let begin.
I can't fight for you no more, knocking voices buried under their lies. They wore the crown of fleeting belief, but ran from the throne when it brought grief. Oh,
I tried to carry your weight on my back, but your shadow was a heavy attack. You disappeared when the fire burned high, left me screaming at an empty sky.
I wanted the victory more than they, but you can't chase stars for those who stray. So I lay down the sword and walk away. The battle's lost, they chose decay. I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out. Your silence echoes a deafening shout. Oh, they vanished like shadows in the light, fading away when it's time to fight. I reach my hand, they let it fall. I can't catch ghosts, I've given it all.
Oh, they vanish like shadows in the light, fading away when it's time to fight. I reached my hand, they let it fall. I can't catch ghosts, I've given it all.